Hello everyone and welcome to Red Hot Go, the show where I get a taste of a movie, game or anime that you have recommended and tell you my first impressions. This time, by request of my wonderful patron Jaman5 as well as Superloop13, Grim and Duncan Bones, I will be giving Hyouka a red hot go. First thing I thought when watching Hyouka was, oh great, another too cool for school protagonist. But I eventually wasn't bothered by his attitude, as 1, he was given a cast of interesting characters to bounce off of, and 2, no one seems to think that Hotaru is cool for his energy-conserving attitude. In fact, he is more often than not being derided for this attitude, or being encouraged to forego it altogether. By the end of the 3rd episode, we get told what the ultimate mystery is, what the show will be spent figuring out. Eru here wants to remember what her uncle said to her a long time ago. And I must admit, as far as show-spanning mysteries go, this one is rather weak. I'm not really invested in what her uncle said to her, despite how cute her design is and how sad she becomes when she talks about it. Eru herself is fine. I like the way she looks at a mystery the same way I look at a plate of roast pork, and her catchphrase, "I'm curious," does a great job at reinforcing the show's main draw, but more on that later. The other characters are also fine. I'm interested to see how Ibara will deal with crushing on a guy who knows about her crush and clearly doesn't care about it, and I'm endeared by Satoshi and his overly energetic persona, as it makes a nice contrast to Hotaru's tired and uninvolved personality. While their dynamic is fun, the characters themselves aren't quite enough to hook me onto the show either. The fact is, so many shows rely on their characters or a main mystery to invest its viewers, but as I have said, Hyouka doesn't hook me in either regard. But in the end, it doesn't need to. The thing that kept me interested enough to happily watch through the first 3 episodes in a single sitting was its individual mysteries that cropped up each episode. I'm a sucker for a good mystery, and Hyouka's individual bite-sized questions had me hooked. Keep in mind, I went into Hyouka blind, so I had no idea it was a mystery show until Eru begged Hotaru to help her figure out how she got locked in the classroom, and it became abundantly clear that the show was not going to let this go. Immediately I remember the scene where Hotaru first went to the classroom and passed a maintenance worker on the way, and I immediately thought that he must have locked the door, and I wound up being right. This is the kind of mystery storytelling that I love, the kind that gives you all the pieces you need to solve the mystery by yourself and has the main characters explain the solution in a way that those who didn't notice all the pieces can easily follow along with. In fact, over the course of the first 3 episodes, for each mystery I was at a different level of having worked it out. Like I said earlier, for the locked door mystery, I guessed the solution and got to feel clever when I was reaffirmed. For the book mystery, I had my own theory that turned out to be wrong, but learning how I had put the pieces together incorrectly was satisfying in its own way. The defensive 3rd year mystery was one that had me completely stumped. I had no idea what Hotaru was doing until he explained it at the end of the episode, which led to a facepalm how did I miss that kind of moment. But that in and of itself carried its own sense of joy, that a puzzle had been laid out before me without my knowledge and I got to see all the hidden pieces being revealed and put together. So in the end, while Hyouka misses more shots than it hits, the one hit it got was so good that it negates all the others. Now, this anime walks on a thin line. If the characters do not become more engaging as the show goes on, then my enjoyment will solely be based on the mini-mysteries, and should they diminish in quality, I will likely have no motivation to continue the series. It's for risky shows like this that I have my hitherto unused category for Red Hot Go, to be determined. This means that I will keep watching until I lose interest or finish it. This may come off as anticlimactic, but towards the end of the year I'm going to do a Red Hot Go roundup where I tell you how I felt about the shows I watched and whether I actually finished them. And that is it for this episode of Red Hot Go. I'd like to thank my patrons, Orion Train, Quincy Chamberlain, Jaman5, Lars Espen, Shark, and Data52. If you would like to become a patron or join the Behind Big Joe Discord server, links for both are in the description. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.